I've traveled almost 7,000 miles, over 14 hours in a plane. Where are the subtitles? What's up, guys? We are today on our third day in Tokyo. We spent most of the morning actually getting train tickets, our rail passes. We actually almost didn't get one for Kyoto, but it's because it's a national holiday, so we needed to reserve our seats. I apologize if the audio is really bad. It's because it's super windy out here today. I'm sure these big buildings over here make it like an absolute wind tunnel, but it's just a really cool, I mean, this is a train station. It looks like some like palace of some sort, but it is strictly a train station. You go in there, it's super modern. We actually had a cafe called the Japan Rail Cafe. I had some red bean toast. It was pretty good. It's different. Definitely not something you'd find at a typical cafe in the US. Just an absolutely beautiful sight with the Japanese flags waving in the background. It is just absolutely a marvel, some of the stuff that they have here. There's actually a lot of military personnel who have been walking around that I've seen, which is super cool as well to be able to see them in person. Which I think that's probably something you're only really going to see, at least in bulk, in downtown Tokyo, which is where we are right now. Today we are going to be focusing mostly on shrines and other kind of architectural things. Our first big stop was actually going to be the Imperial Palace, and we are headed that way, but I really wanted to take a shot here because Tokyo Station is absolutely beautiful, and it's ginormous inside. So that right there is Tokyo Station for you guys, and let's go ahead to the Imperial Palace next. Hey guys, so we are actually on the grounds of the Imperial Palace. We're obviously not at the Imperial Palace, but this fountain park is on the grounds and it's very beautiful. We've got some fountains back here and some fountains over here in the middle of downtown Tokyo with all these high rises. The juxtaposition is very surreal. And the funniest thing is that there's actually a Starbucks right there in the middle of this very serene fountain park. So it's a very interesting commercialization choice, I'd say. But from here, we're heading over to the rest of the Imperial Palace grounds. As you can see over there, there's already some nice old architecture. So that's what we are heading to go try and see now. I know it's going to sound like I'm whispering. It's because this is a very kind of sacred ground to them, but we just went up to the shrine, me and Tony did, and we didn't know exactly what to do. The lady could tell that we were foreign, and it was excellent. What ended up happening is she showed you ring the bell, you bow, you clap twice, pray, bow again to finish. And me and Tony then proceeded to do that. A line formed behind us and other people started doing so as well. It was just a very, very cool moment for us who obviously did not know what to do at the shrine to be able to be instructed by somebody who knows exactly what to do at the shrine. So we were very respectful here. As I said, that's why I'm being quiet, is because I really don't want to disturb what's going on behind us. One other thing I'm going to note here is behind us, there's actually a cool little thing. These are luck charms that people hang up at the shrine. So essentially, that's how people wish for luck, especially the new year. As that rolls around, we're going to see a lot of that, especially in Kyoto. So again, very sacred ground to the people of Japan. Just a really neat experience for us as tourists. We're here at the Tokyo Metropolitan Building. I'm going to be rather quiet because it is a pretty quiet area. But we are actually on the 45th floor of a building right now. They said we could record or take photos so long as we didn't have a tripod. Instead, I've got a Tony, which is better than a tripod in my opinion. So behind me, if you can see it, it's really hard to see because it's really far back, but this is about as close as we're going to get to Mount Fuji. Because Mount Fuji, honestly, it's kind of a day trip out of the way of things, and we just have so much to see here that this is what we're going to do in order to see Mount Fuji. It's actually a really good view. As you can see, I mean, buildings just go on for miles and miles and miles. But we are here, and the stay for here, it's about an hour, is what they let us have. Not that they really keep track of that, but they request that we only stay here an hour, and then we leave, but that's for the price of free admission. That's right, it is free to get in here. It is outside of Tokyo Tower. Tokyo Tower, you have to do paid admission, so it is a really wonderful sight to see all of this different stuff here. We are here in Golden Gai. Golden Gai, it's not a person, believe it or not. It's actually a stretch. There's a few different streets here of bars in Shinjuku, Tokyo. There are many, many of them. They all seat like about 4 to 6 people. They're all very tiny, but it is a very famous area. If you are somebody who likes to drink, this is the place you want to go. It's really neat. Some areas look a little sketchy, but it's really not. It's really just because they pack so much into such a small space, and it's really cool just to see all these little like family-owned tiny places. Honestly, I might have to come back here when it's a little bit more lively and things are open, so probably not going to be footage of that, but might happen. Guys, I just won the jackpot! So you guys remember how I was playing Pachinko just a moment ago? This is absolutely crazy. We were planning on going to Golden Gai tonight. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we're going to have enough time to make it to Shinjuku and back comfortably. I mean, we probably could make a train there and train back, but it's because the Evangelion machine I was playing just kept getting jackpots. It kept going into what was called impact mode. And impact mode is basically your jackpot that happened 7 times. Not once, not twice, 7 times. So I spent about 40 bucks on the machine. And you might be thinking, what does that equate to in money? Well, that equates to, apparently, they handed me these little gold things and I took them over to the exchange shop, which is right next to us. And I got basically 300 US dollars worth of yen. A little bit less than that because of conversion rates and all that, but just an absurd amount. And we thought I got maybe $70. So I got about triple that. And I'm still reeling because me and Tony were sitting there for what felt like an hour. And, well, at least in my case, I feel like it paid off. We are here at the Imperial Palace in Tokyo, Japan. It is really early in the morning. We got up early because we have a reservation later in the afternoon. So we ended up coming here, and this is just the entrance. We're gonna see what's inside. I'm really curious. The hours are super weird. We actually were gonna be here yesterday, but we didn't make it. So we're gonna go inside. I'm gonna just try to mostly get some B-roll footage just to show you guys kind of the inside of this place. Because my assumption is it's gonna be really cool. The gardens are absolutely immaculate. They're really pretty. And it's the only place that I can say I've ever seen with a moat. So it's pretty cool. And let's see what's inside. actually came here to Tokyo, Japan in a really unique time. I mean, you see behind me, there's nobody here. I mean, there's been one group of tourists since we've gotten here, and it's been so serene and quiet. Today's Christmas Eve, so a lot of tourists you would think would come here for like a vacation, but this place only opened to tourists about 2 months ago, and so we immediately bought our tickets and have had them for a while, and it's led to a really unique experience for us where there's barely any tourists here. So overall, it's been an absolutely serene experience as we continue to go through the Imperial Palace. All of the different tourist destinations have been, I don't want to say empty, but really uncrowded in comparison to what we really thought, especially for someplace as kind of big and well known as the Imperial Palace. You know how many people are here, like kind of getting in our way? You can hear the crows around here. They're pretty loud. One actually kind of sounded to Tony like a person. But this one's just big chilling up here, I guess. I can't see him, but they're quite loud. There he is. You got him. Let's go. But behind me, something a little bit more important than a crow. Right back there is the Tokyo Tower, the place that we're not going to because I don't want to spend money to go up really high. We did that at the Metropolitan building, and that was cool enough. But this lookout here is just a part of the free admission grounds. I got a big long panoramic shot of it, but you can see it a little bit there. But we will go ahead and shift to that panoramic shot where you can see just how beautiful the city of Tokyo is, as if you didn't know that already from some of these videos that I've shown you. It's really cool to see the dichotomy between the two things we're doing, because we've kind of seen the entertainment side of things and we've kind of seen the historical side of things, and it is just so serene when you are in these historical sites, and it is absolutely beautiful. So we are going to continue moving around the Imperial Palace. We've honestly only been here about 20 minutes, but it feels like we have seen about 3 gardens worth of content here. So we're going to continue around, and we're just going to have a peaceful little stroll down, seeing all the different buildings and gardens. It's so very well kept, and let's go ahead and get going. I don't want to leave. Little buddy. So this is just another part of the grounds, but we just had to get a shot here of me kind of talking and walking because it is just so beautiful. The gardens are so well maintained, and there's so many unique things, like a lot of fruit trees. There's a bamboo section, all sorts of stuff where they really have maintained it just so well. There's a lot of plants that are still in kind of the autumn season look, where they have the beautiful red coloring, and then there's a lot of evergreens here. Not a lot of like pine stuff, but like legitimate stuff that is like apparently evergreen that I didn't even know about. It looks like it's a garden in the middle of summer, but it's winter out here, and while it's actually a really pleasant day, probably around 50 degrees or so, it's been really cold, so I'm shocked that there's just so many, like, look over there, that looks just like a normal tree, but it's apparently either evergreen or it's they've maintained it in some way, because it is winter here. It's very cold. So I mean, just look at this view though. In the middle of winter, you've got just a hedge path. It is absolutely gorgeous, and we have enjoyed just walking through here because there's so many like scenic shots. I'm probably gonna run out of storage on my phone just taking videos of this place alone, because it is just so beautiful. It's also one other interesting thing to note, not really related to the scenic shots, but there's also police officers, because this place is like a government or kind of historical maintained site. There are police officers that kind of roam about through here, and they actually go through the gates on bikes, of all things. That's how they travel around here. There's a lot of biking police officers, which is really neat to see. It also kind of adds to the level of safety through a place like this, because it is a big public area. You do feel through every street in Tokyo that I've been through, just about, you feel very safe. So just a beautiful scenic area, better than any normal park that you'd see in America. But to be fair, this isn't just a park, it's the Imperial Palace, so they probably put a little extra work into it. I'm just going to do this in quick selfie mode, but we're actually, if you can see it behind me there, right next to the Japan Stock Exchange as an accounting major. Pretty cool stuff. I've been in New York a couple times, so to be able to see it in person is just kind of neat. We wanted to go inside, but it's closed on weekends, and it's Christmas Eve, which is a Saturday, so we can't go inside. But just a neat little curio we decided to stop by on our way to our next stop, a reservation. We're also going to hit up a shrine real quick, and if it's neat at all, I'll include some footage of it as well. We're here in the Pokemon Cafe, and they just released their Scarlet and Violet menus. It's like a 3-course meal thing. So of course, I'm getting that. We're gonna see a big display of food. It's actually attached to the Pokemon Center, which I'm sure I've already shown you shots of. But we're gonna be dining here. It's gonna be quite the setup. I got a souvenir cup drink as well. We are going to indulge in just a heck of a lot of food, but it's super crowded here. I got the reservation. I got one of the last spots for like a lunchtime. Actually, not one of the last. I got the last spot for a lunchtime, and they actually put us in the corner, which is great because I can display the stuff to you guys. They told us that they're very open to photographs and videos and stuff like that. So I am more than happy to show you guys what we got, and then maybe even in the future see some things around the cafe as well. I'll do it. We've been out and about a lot today. The Robot Cafe was super cool. I'm pretty far from actually where they go in and they do kind of the ritual stuff that they do, so I feel comfortable talking a little bit louder here, but this shrine in particular is beautiful. It's very large. You can take some video from the outside, but once you get close, they request no photographs, no video, anything like that. So I'll get some faraway footage for you guys of this shrine because the architecture here is immaculate. I was telling Tony, kind of because of the lighting reminded me of something you'd see at a theme park with just how elaborate, kind of cool it is. I don't think of it as a theme park attraction, don't get me wrong, but in terms of like how just bright, colorful, always love those shrines. They're always really well done. And as I took one more lap around Akihabara that evening, they were having a Christmas concert with some VTubers, and I just had to get it. And I also happened to go to the bar that I talked about in Shinjuku, and I met a friend or two. It was a great time. See you guys next week.